The last 20 months have witnessed a major upheaval the world over. The pandemic has touched the lives of all human beings. The pandemic poems is my attempt at sharing some of my thoughts through a set of 6 poems written by me. I hope the listeners' feelings would echo with those of mine. My first poem is titled Scared. During the corona times, we are all scared. Scared because we do not know where the invisible enemy is. When will it attack us? What our future holds for us? During this period, I also lost my mother, and for sure, my mental vulnerabilities only increased. Till such time as I realized that the mind is playing all the games. Through this poem, I wish to send across the message that scare scares us only when we allow ourselves to get scared. So live on, put your worries behind, do what is needed to be done, and look for the world to come back to its previous beauty. Scared. Oh, mother, I'm scared, not aware whether I'm alive or I'm dead. If only you could take my head on your lap, run your beautiful fingers on my hair, and give me solace. All the fear would go away, for I knew you are there to shield me, to protect me, and to expel all my fears. Somewhere from far, I heard a low, faint voice, a voice that I knew, a voice that I could recognize. The voice said, "What are you scared of, my son?" I looked around, but you are not there. Where are you? How far are you? Did I really hear you? Was the voice real? All around me there is scare, and more fear. I looked around searching for you, but with time only grew my despair, till I realized it was a voice from within, somewhere from deep within, asking me to define my feelings. So I tried and said, "Oh, mother, I'm scared, scared of the invisible, scared of the unknown and of the terrible. I'm scared of the present and of the future, of loneliness. I'm scared of people and their companionship, of uncertainty, of haziness and darkness all around. I'm scared of light, scared of smell, scared should all of these go away from me one day." And then I heard the voice again, feeble and low, but firm. "My son, I have no answers to your scare. I did not have any answer before, nor do I have it now. But let me tell you something sound. Your mind always told you that you were safe when I was around. So, son, wake up and tell your mind that scares only if you get scared." The sudden gush of wind woke me up with a refreshing feeling. I had known for some time now that the scare is real and it is there to scare everybody. But today it did not scare me anymore, for my mother told me, scares only if you get scared." The second poem is titled Dad, You Are Lucky. The poem is dedicated to my father who did not live long enough to face the tough times of the pandemic. I wonder how he would have been able to survive the torturous stay at home during the pandemic. Life would have been so tough for him, not meeting his friends. I, for one, know that for him, friends were everything. This poem was penned on December 1, 2020, when my father would have been 80. But he left us too soon on a fateful night 20 years back. We miss you, feel sad every day, but Dad, for once I feel good that you went away early. early enough not to see the pandemic. Yes, Dad, you were lucky. Shattered, distraught, and completely broken we were when you suddenly left us and went away somewhere. Tried hard to find, asked many, but could not find where. And now I do not regret that anymore because, Dad, you were lucky you left before. Before the world changed forever from its core. You're lucky you did not live long enough to see the world today so tough. To live in a world with fear all around. The fear of meeting your friends every day in the green ground. With danger lurking all around. Should you even go out of your home, for you would have been 80 today, but sure, not alone. You still would have friends, for you were so folksy, and you still would meet them every day with reasons feeble and flimsy. All of us would have told you how susceptible you are at your age, knowing fully well how much you would hate not going out to meet your dear mates. We would still have pleaded with you because you know we love you, we care for you. Oh, Dad, you're lucky. Lucky not to witness the struggles of today. For the struggle seems so unending, unimaginable, and uncertain. Lucky enough to be in times when you cherished the company of your friends. For the same friends may have deserted you today. Scared they also would be. Lucky not to be scared of doing things at your own will. For now, your movements would have been curbed with what is safe and what can make you ill. Lucky not to worry about something that you cannot even see, for the worry of the invisible is so frustrating, so panicky. Lucky not to worry about things that even experts have no knowledge about, for all our faith in them has now transcended into suspicion and doubt. Good that you left this world early. You see, Dad, you are so lucky. The third poem is titled Take Me Home, O Mother. A young 28-year-old man was lying on the hospital bed fighting for his life. His mother would visit him every morning and evening. This poem narrates the cry of the young man, desperate to go back home, to his own room, among his own people. But would he be able to? Take me home, O mother. Mother, hold my hand tightly. Do not allow me to slip away. I plead to you, pray to the Almighty, or beg the doctor to give his best. Do all that you can, cry or pray. But, mother, do not allow me to slip away. Cause you see, I do not want to go, for I am young and I have a long way to go. Take me back home, O mother, to my sweet wife, father, and dear brother. For this hospital bed is such a bother, and what's life without all of us together? You know, when you are not around, Mum, I get scared thinking if the end has come. But with you around, strength I regain, for you have always been ameliorating my pain. Do not think that I am not being cared here. Yet is there anybody who can beat your care? Mother, I should now, though I did not want to tell you, how I cry when I am alone, as if it is time to bid adieu. Please take me back home, O mother. I wish to get back home and live with all of you together. One day, the plea from the boy stopped as the ventilator came on. Mother waited, hope in her eyes gone. Tears rolled down her eyes and folded hands praying, O God, please make my son well soon with your blessing. I cannot wait to see him calling me mom again and take him back home to the place he belongs. His father is old and frail, and I too am aging. His wife is young, and they married this year in the spring. His brother needs him for support and guidance. How can all of us be the victims of this circumstance? The wait finally ended one morning with the ventilator taken off. All the doctor's efforts and his mother's prayers went in vain, as lay the boy silent, devoid of any worries or pain. The mother was stunned, so were the others. And then the father said, God only wants the best flower. Consoling everyone, he said, he was the best flower. But how could the mother forget what he had said? For she could not take him back home as he lay dead. The fourth poem in the series is titled The Procession of Death. 24th March 2020. After the announcement of the lockdown and amidst the increasing fears of the pandemic, there was gloom everywhere. Friends were hesitant to meet each other, and everybody was confined to their homes. More than 6 months later, the greatest festival of Bengalis, Durga Puja, was knocking at the doors. Unlockdown had also started some time back. Though the fear of corona still lurked, but people, especially in Bengal, went out to the market for puja shopping. They were waiting for the puja to start, as that would give them an opportunity to break the shackles of staying at home. And how can Bengalis not go pandal hopping during Durga Puja? A few days later came Diwali, a much bigger pan India festival. Stakes were high. The honorable courts in both cases reined in, and thus the number of people going out of homes or bursting crackers was much less. Well, there was a danger of a sudden spike, it thankfully was not. But suddenly, in April 2021, from somewhere came another wave, and thus started the procession of death. There is light everywhere, for celebrations are back. Festivals are cheering everybody up as they move past the outbreak. Oh my, how have people been waiting for the joy and gaiety to arrive, with scant worry if after the revelries they will even survive. Seems the country had not seen light and bloom for a long time now, although the sun rose every day. And yes, didn't the clear winds blow? Yet there is darkness all around and people are not happy. Many have lost their jobs and food is hard to come by. There is no joy left. Happiness seems elusive. But amidst all the death, many are still alive. Alive will celebrate. Because what's life without any celebration? Come, dive into the festivities, for that's what wants this nation. The dangers are known, with scary numbers made available to all. But celebrate must all, not worried about how many will ultimately fall. The crowd in the beautifully decorated pavilions is no less this year. The gaiety is back, and so the crowd came from all across, far and near. Why shouldn't it be? When so much has gone to present the pavilion theme, a little risk is worth taking when you wish to partake such art supreme. The crowd thronged the pavilions. After all, festivities come only once a year. Hundreds and thousands came together when none should have been there. The processions were long, and thus trampled were the rules. Oh, the celebrations in all its glory and splendor and sparkles. Soon came the curtains down with the immersion. Carnivals were over, and all went home, joyful memories in their possession. Then came the ultimate celebrations, the festival of light. Happy we're all, old and young, and thus continued unabated the delight. But along with light is another inseparable part of the festival. It creates noise, makes breathing difficult, and above all, health critical. Many were suffering from the activity, so basic emotion for the majority. Only those who suffer scream out and say, "Doctor, help me breathe, for else I will die." The cry wasn't loud, for their voices were weak and feeble. Nobody else dare cry, while only they knew the magnitude of their trouble. Some good Samaritan did take up their cause, and so did the lords at the court. Banned were the sales and use of crackers in many states, so we were told. Did the order get violated and the air pollution worsen? I dare say it was the result of an act carried out in manner so brazen, so insensitive, but only were a few, while others stayed in their homes, for the responsible ones did not want to needlessly exhibit that they were goons. The numbers did not swell, and relieved felt all citizen. The guards were down, and came out all women and men. Suddenly, there was horror everywhere, for the dreaded numbers grew. All panicked and frightened, not knowing what to do. The worst apprehensions came true only if discretion was shown, taking caution that was due. Alas, it was not to be, for coming out of home was important. Millions came out, rejoiced, when they only had to show restraint. So sad, the dreaded numbers only raised the need for more wraith, passing through the gloom, as increased the procession of death. The fifth poem is titled The Unselfish Creator. Many people in our country leave their homes in search of work, travel long distances to work in poor conditions. The pandemic showed us the reality of all these migrant laborers who toiled every day so that their family back in the village can have food. They work tirelessly, in an unselfish way, to create big buildings and mansions, yet they are deprived of the very basic needs of life. This poem, The Unselfish Creator, is dedicated to the millions of migrant laborers who toil day after day in extremely tough conditions. It talks about 10 such laborers who have come to a new city, far from the village, and are working on a construction site. Suddenly, their lives were torn apart when the pandemic forced a lockdown. With no work and little food, they started walking back to their village, not knowing whether they will ever make it. The Unselfish Creator. 10 packed in a small room. Life was tough, but they had to pull on. This was the only way they could survive so that their family back home stay alive. They all came here to work and to earn, so that one day they could eventually return. Return to the green fields, to the river, to the sunshine and live with their own. Return to the friends whose absence here stings, to all that they left behind to achieve some basic things. Sitting alone in the room, Ratan could see vividly his 4-year son missing him and crying loudly. When he left his village for an unknown city, his young wife was hiding her tears. His mother and sisters were sobbing. Tough it was, but he knew he had to go to the faraway land, for he had to earn so that his family gets food, so that he can repay the loans his father had taken and save enough to get his sisters married off. Suddenly, from nowhere, 2 drops of tears rolled down. Wiping the tears, he got up to see what others were doing. As he walked out of the small room, He found the others sitting in a huddle, laughing loudly on the jokes someone cracked. He too joined them and forgot his sorrow. It was evening, and they all had a little free time before they start cooking, eating, and retiring for the day. Life was mundane, working from morning till evening, with only an hour that they get for relaxing. And then all were back into the small room for cooking. After eating, some went out, while Ratan went to bed. The next morning, they started working again, the unselfish creators of the huge mansion. Oh, there they go again. And then, one day, 10 of them started walking back home. Ratan and his friends, who came from the land of Brome, unsure of what lay ahead. How will they travel back with all the load on their head packed in a sack? Cover they have to some 1,000 miles, for their home is 2 states away, and the nature rile. These unselfish creators of the mansion, left on their own, hungry and scared, forced to take a long walk, 'cause there were no buses nor trains in the station. Thus started the painful journey in the shadows of the invisible hawk. The 10 walked till one by one they started feeling tired. It was getting dark, and they found the ground where they could retire. Food they had a little, but water had to be found, so went a few, while others lay in the dark ground. It was a long, tiring day, and her legs complained on the day's arduous journey. Yet Kamla could not stop, for they have to continue despite the hurting knee. And then the bottles came filled, dinner was over, and all went to bed. For the next 2 weeks the painful walk continued, till one day they reached home, hoping to meet their own. But alas, that was not to be. The isolation ward lay between them and he. Ratan lay thinking about how close he is, yet he is so far. He remembered the work left behind. When would they be back there again? And suddenly he felt good, as he was the unselfish creator of the mansion. I end the pandemic poems with a small poetry titled Give Me Back My Life. The minister boldly rode, "Go, Corona, go." A profound statement made he a few months ago. Some laughed, some mocked at him, while the trolls trolled. Did it impact him? Nobody knows, nor was it showed. But oh man, life has changed forever. Of course, for the worse. Was the world like this before, or is it moving in a direction reverse? Many a question have confronted us ever since it came. Does anybody have any answer? Except that we all want it to go. Give me back my life, and you, Corona, go. You've no place amidst us, so go, Corona, go.